Hello, and welcome back to Let's Talk Chicago Bears. Yeah, I don't know. These Bears have got to start winning. Otherwise, people are going to just, I don't lose their minds, right? So, welcome back. Thank you for coming back. And I just wanted to do a quick shout out to, it seems like I got quite a few new subscribers in the last couple weeks. So, thank you. I am very blessed to have all the watch viewers. I started this show, as most people know if they watch me regularly, 4 years ago. And because it was COVID, I like to talk, and I love my Chicago Bears, and I love talking about them. So I figured, why not, right? And now we're 4 years later, and I'm still doing the show, and people are actually watching me. So it's pretty damn cool to be this 65-year-old woman from Illinois who moved to Vegas in 2018 and to be with her only son, to be by her only son, and then started the show. And then I also have a podcast that I do. So thank you. I mean, it really means a lot that people listen to me, and I appreciate it. And you know what? I also like to have fun. I like to try to, if I make you smile and laugh today, and every day I do my show, my mission is complete, especially this season with how bad it's going. I mean, last season they were 3-14. We know that, but we all drank the Kool-Aid and went around the ride because we thought, okay, we're going to build. We're going to get Justin better, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and it doesn't seem like it's happening, does it? Now we're in, year two with this coaching staff and new GM, and it doesn't seem to be going the way we want. There's a million reasons why. You can point your fingers at everybody. Everybody's pretty much to blame in the organization right now. So it's what we need is we really need the Bears to win this week. So we're going to get into all that. I'm going to go over a few stats. I'm not going to, beat the dead horse because there's not really, we're in week 4, so there's not a lot, but let's get to it. Okay, so we're playing Denver this week in Soldier Field. This will be the 17th time that Denver and the Bears have played since the Broncos joined the NFL in 1970. The series is tied at 8-8. And this will be the 8th time that Denver has played in Chicago. So that's not a lot. They haven't played a lot. So, Bears, give us the win and send Denver back with an L. Lose. And forgive me again. I'm at the tail end of COVID. I got it a month ago. And I still got the cough. So, you know what? COVID is the real deal. I was I was just so sick. And I still got the cough. And my doctor the other day said to me, you're going to probably have it for another couple weeks. Great. So I apologize if I'm coughing during the show. Okay, so let's talk about the Bears and Denver. A few stats that I always do on my Friday show. So the Bears are averaging about 148 yards a game passing. That puts them 31st in the league out of 32 teams. Not good. This is where Denver really hurts us. They're averaging 245 yards passing a game, and that puts them 8th. So that's a big issue for our defense because we all know how they've been playing, right? We're averaging in the rush 101 yards. That should be higher. I don't know why because Getsy don't get it. We should be running more. So that the 101 average puts us 17th in the league. Denver is averaging 95 yards a game. That puts them 20th in the league. So the Bears are slightly better there. The Bears have scored only an average of 15 points a game. Now, remember, these are averages. That puts them 27th in the league. Denver beats us there. They've been averaging 23 points a game, puts that 15th in the league. So they beat us there again. Points allowed, the Bears, this is pretty funny. The Bears have been allowing on defense Their defense has given up 35 points a game. That average, that puts the Bears at 31st in the league. And Denver, probably after the last game when they gave up 70 points, they're averaging 40 points they're giving up, and that puts them dead last. So the Bears are second to last, Denver is last. So, what can we say about that, right? Wilson, their quarterback, has 791 yards passing, a lot more than Fields, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, been sacked 10 times, and has 57 yards rushing. Fields, on the other hand, has 526 yards passing, 109 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and he's been sacked 13 times. Okay? And I'm really kicking myself in the head because I forgot. This is what happens when you're 65. Pickled brain. I've been pickling it for a long time, and I forgot to check the injury report. As I'm like, shoot. Yesterday and Wednesday, these 3 players, and they're notable. They worry me. Did not play at all. Josh Blackwell, number 39, our backfield D back. Eddie Jackson, number 4, our backfield D back player. Defensive back, and Jalen Johnson, JJ, who is our cornerback, number 33. None of them practiced. They may have today, so I apologize for not knowing that, but that concerns me, particularly Eddie Jackson and Jalen Johnson. They don't play. Wilson's going to have a field day, unless our line shocks the whole world and shows up, the defensive line that shows up and decides to play. Because if they don't get after Wilson, and I think I said Fields is going to have a field day. No, Wilson is going to have a field day with this backfield if these two, Eddie Jackson and Jalen Johnson, do not play, because they're good. They're solid players. Both have hamstring issues, so that is a 50-50 thing. So we'll see. I think if they can play, they'll play, especially Jalen Johnson, because he wants to be out there so bad. As we all know, last week, Denver got blown out 70-20. Now, the Bears have had some losses this year, but good God, not as bad. Although I think last week Andy Reid was being nice to the Bears. He could have that score could have been higher, but I think he was like, Andy Reid's got class. Bottom line. So the teams are both 0-3, and to say that they both need a win is an understatement, right? The Bears need a win on Sunday desperately. You know what? They have to really. Well, first they need a win because they need a win. Duh, right? But if they get a win, they'll feel what it feels like to win. They have not won. Well, we're on the team last year. They haven't won since October. And the Bears, I've been saying all season, don't really know how to win. They don't know how to finish a game. They haven't really started a game, let alone finish a game. And that's the one thing. The Bears have got to come out strong on Sunday. I mean, really strong and tough. And they have got to play their asses off, okay? Which leads me to the next thing I'm going to say. Now, remember when Coach Flus came last year? He said, I've got a philosophy, and we're going to be living by this all year, and it's called HITS. HITS, and that stands for hustle, intensity, takeaways, and smart football. Now, he threw this around all last year a lot, and we were seeing some of this. But I can tell you right now, and I was mentioning this on my podcast with my buddy Dan on Wednesday night, that what happened to the HITS Palace philosophy? Because I certainly don't see it, and I'm not hearing it. And apparently the radio guys and whatnot are all saying the same thing. See, I'm in Vegas, so I don't really listen to a lot of Chicago radio anymore. So I kind of do this stuff on what I'm thinking. And where is this? We're not seeing hustle, that's for sure. We're not seeing the intensity. Takeaways is a joke. And smart, are you kidding me? They've had the dumbest penalties. Last week they had 2 delay of games, which they could have had more as I was watching. But really? I mean, just stupid. And I have not seen it. I have not seen any of these. So what is Flus not using this, philosophy? I mean, what's going on? That was his thing, and is he still saying it? I don't know, but I can tell you they're not doing it. We need a team to come out here and show us. Last year they were 3-14, but I got to tell you what, there was only one or two games that it was a blowout. The rest of the Bears were in all those games because they were hustling. They were doing that. Although takeaways has been a real issue for the last years for the Bears. I remember the days where you would turn on a Bears game, and it wasn't that long ago, and you knew you would get at least one turnover by the defense. We're just not seeing that, and that is huge because turnovers help everybody on your team. It gets your defense off the field. It puts your offense back on the field to hopefully score some points. It keeps their offense off the field and puts their D back on, and that's something you need desperately. The Bears have got to make some plays. What we need, and I see, I watch a lot of football, particularly that game last night, which was awesome, was it not? I love Detroit. Right on, and I want to give a shout out to David Montgomery, number 5 on Detroit. He was our running back for 4 years, and it was great. He scored 3 touchdowns last night, and he had over 100, and I don't know, he had a lot of yards. So good for you, David. Congratulations, and you know what? We are now the new Detroit team. We're the losers. Everyone's making fun of us. We're Detroit now. So we got to change that. But Detroit, I got to tell you, it's nice to see because they have a worse losing streak all over than the Bears do. So good for you guys, and I love to see Green Bay get humiliated. And, of course, I will mention this last night. If you weren't watching the game, there's something about those refs in Green Bay. I think it needs to be investigated, and I'm not kidding. They get more breaks than any team. It was the end of the third quarter. It was on zeros. And they let the play go through, and Green Bay got like a 30-yard completion. That play should have been cut down. It's not like the play clock where the officials are looking when it hits zero, they're looking at their watch and hit zero, and then they look up. When it's the end of the quarter, that's it. Nothing happens, and they got to do that play. And this better be brought up. Detroit better bring this up to the NFL because that was bullshit. So yeah. Bullshit. So, but my point was, you see some of these plays, these on defense, these fantastic plays, and then the whole team gets psyched and they're awesome and they're like, yeah, they're high-fiving, and it brings the team up and it gives them energy. Who is that for the Bears on defense? I don't see anybody doing it, and the Bears need to do it. I don't see anybody stepping up on that defense and taking it over and saying, listen, guys, we're in the fucking NFL. We need to play like it. So I don't see anybody, and I don't see it on offense either. If Justin's the one in charge of it, he ain't doing a good job, okay? We need a leader on that team, and I don't know who it is. But if you have a leader or somebody who makes a fantastic play, everybody on the team is like, yeah. And that's what the Bears need on Sunday. They really, really need this. And everybody has been pointing fingers in the last couple weeks. Everybody, fire the coaches, bench Fields, do this, do that, a lot of pointing. And it's everybody's fault, as I said. But you can't fire Flus. First of all, the Bears, if you go back and look at their history, they don't fire coaches during the season. They just don't do it. And it's not really productive because it doesn't help. And the Bears can't do it anyways because we don't have a D coordinator. So Flus is wearing both hats now. Head coach and D coordinator. So you can't fire him. I honestly thought they might have made Getsy the statement last week and fired him, but then who are they going to put in there? So at this point, when I sat down and calmed down from that loss and really started thinking about it, they can't fire him. I want them to. At the end of the season, I'm sorry, I want them. I don't want that offensive coordinator from the Detroit, like everybody's talking about. I want somebody who's going to come in there and shake up this team, organization and shake up these players, like Ditka used to do, like Lovey used to do. That's when you had good teams, when they made them accountable and they called them out. And I can't believe it because I've never been a big fan of his, especially when he was on the Bears because he was a kiss ass. But Jim Harbaugh, the coach in Michigan, college right now, and he played for the Bears way back. He likes the Bears a lot, and I think he'd like to play for the Bears. I'm sure in his contract with Michigan is if the Bears job came up, his contract would be null void, and he could go to the Bears. I say hire him. I really do. I never thought I'd say it, but for the Bears' sake, we need a coach that's going to put a fire under this team, and I don't see Flus doing that. He seems good at analytical and philosophy. We need a coach that's going to kick these players in the ass. That's what we need. And the other thing I was thinking about, though, is, Jordan Love. Everyone's like, oh, great. Now they got another good quarterback. Here we go again. Favre, Rodgers, Love. Well, let's talk about that. Quarterbacks in the NFL nowadays, in the days back in the, 80s, 90s, they would draft quarterbacks high, and then they would sit them on the bench for a year, if they were lucky, too. And these quarterbacks didn't play. They didn't learn on Sundays. They learned in the practices and watching the quarterback on the field. And that's how they learned. That's why the last 4 decades, the Packers have had good quarterbacks. Favre got to learn a little bit. He didn't go right out there when he came. I don't know how long he sat, so I didn't put that. But then while Favre was, making all his numbers, they drafted Rodgers. And he sat 2 years before he became the starter of the Packers. So he got to learn behind Favre the right way. Not just thrown in there and, Then Green Bay drafts Love 2 years ago. He sat for 2 years. And now he is their starter. And see how it works? When Tom Brady came into the league, he didn't run into the game right away. And so now they draft these guys and they throw them in. And that's why I believe some of these young guys are struggling. And they're not going to be what you thought they were going to be. Now, teams that do that, where they draft them and they throw them in there, and some quarterbacks do survive, but that's when they have a good coaching staff, good mentors. We don't have that. We know it, and that's got to change, and that's got to start in the off season, where we got to do it the right way, where the GM hires the head coach, and not all at the same time. And he's got to do a lot of work on that. And I wish the president, Warren, who we just got this year, quit working on that damn stadium in Arlington Heights and pay attention to what's on the field right now, man. Because, fuck that stadium in Arlington Heights. If you're going to keep putting losers out there, no one's going to want to come anyways. You know what I'm saying? So, but to go back, that's why the quarterbacks, Fields was just not ready to be thrown in there last year, in my opinion. And I don't know. We know what the Bears want him to be. They want him to be a pocket passer. And we know that the Bears are not, he's not like that. He's not a pocket passer, not right now. So at this point, I want a pocket passer because winning in the NFL, you can't win with just a running quarterback. You just can't. A pocket passing quarterbacks are going to give you a better chance to get to the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. So that's what we need. Whether Fields becomes that, I don't know. Not looking like it right now. Doesn't mean it can't turn around. You get a couple wins under your belt, maybe the Bears can go back. I've been reading all week. They say we've got, the guys are playing together. They've had team meetings. They've been, they say that they call Getsy says he has got a great offensive game plan. Are you fucking kidding me? Kansas City was laughing at us last week on how vanilla that game plan is, sir. Getsy, you don't get it. First of all, you got to run the ball more. You got 2 good running backs. And then, you know what? I think it's time to let Justin be Justin. Whether we like it or not, let's see what he's got. Just put him out there, call some plays. In the beginning of the game, make some smart throws. You can start some short 5 to 10 yard throws for him, get him comfortable, and then you got to start throwing down the field. We're not going to win anything with, 2-yard passes or, behind the line. Oh, my God, I hate those passes. You've got to go forward. Have to. Look down the field, and we got to get this team I don't know. It needs a win desperately. I hate to say it's week 4. I hate to say it's do or die for the Bears. I really do, because teams have turned it around. We just won a 500 winning season, right, guys? We know we weren't going to go to the playoffs, but we would like to have at least show signs of improvement from last year. And we're actually, in my opinion, I think the Bears, are in worse shape than they were last year. I think they're playing worse than they were last year. That's what I'm seeing. I saw more intensity in those games than you're seeing now. So Poles went and got all these defensive linemen and linebackers. I don't see them doing shit. I don't. The offensive line, it has its moments. It's still a work in progress. Hopefully Nate Davis gets in this week and stays in, and then we can have a complete line. And that's important too, because we need our offensive line has to be good to get these running backs their yards, and they got to give Justin the time to get him the confidence. You know what I'm saying? So this game, I think, is a must for the Bears. I hate to say it, but if they could win this game, it would give them a huge boost, because they have a short week next week, and they're going to Washington on Thursday, and they're playing another very average, at best, team. And that's another winnable game. So they could win. Just imagine if they won Sunday and Thursday, they would be 2-4. No. Yeah, they're 0-3. So they'd be 2-5, right? Yes, 2-5. 5 games, Lynn. Their confidence would completely change. They wouldn't be walking around with their heads, you know what I mean? And they'd be like, okay, something's working here. Now we got to go. And that's the thing. They got to get this machine oiled and get it running smoothly, because it's not. I mean, I'm just so disappointed and just, mad. So this game, let's talk about my threes. If you watch my show, I do this every Friday. If you can win the threes, you have a good chance to win that game. You're in the game, or you can win it. My threes are time of possession, turnovers, and penalties. Time of possession, huge to win. You saw last week, Kansas City won handily in the time of possession. And as I always say, time of possession helps your offense, because they're on the field. It helps your defense, because your defense is sitting on the sidelines getting rest. It keeps their offense off the field, so they're not scoring, and it keeps their defense on the field, and you're making them, you're hoping, tired. Like last night in that game with Detroit and Green Bay, after they went ahead, then they just started running the ball. Montgomery pounded him, and he got stronger and stronger, and that wears out the defense. You could see they were worn out, and it eats up the clock, okay? Turnovers, huge. Another thing, as I said earlier, turnovers are so big. The momentum switch just changes to the other team. And hopefully you get points out of it. And it just gives you a lot of boost. And it takes the air out of their sails, the other team, right? And that's something we have not done. Okay, so we got to do that. They got to win that. And then penalties. 5 or less penalties. I give teams 5 or less penalties. Over 5, forget it. And the Bears have sucked this year in that department. Last week, I think they only had 6, but they were costly. That's the thing about these penalties this year with the Bears. They were so good last year at that. This year, terrible. Very undisciplined play, I'm seeing. And that is on the coaches. They've got to be smart about it. Because the Bears, they start to move the ball offensively. Then that yellow flag comes out. They go backwards, and they never get the first down after that. They just don't. Pay attention to it. They don't. So the threes are very important. And I hate penalties, because it just ruins everything. Your momentum, players are pissed, especially if they make a big play and then it comes back. How many times have we seen that this year on our offense? Some of these guys make some good runs, and then they see the flag and they're like, and you've seen them. So Bears, they got to do that. They've got to play. They got to do the hits philosophy has to be in this game. We have to see a different Bears team than we've seen the last 3 weeks because it's embarrassing. It is really embarrassing. And you're in the NFL, damn it. Act like it. My God. And I did want to let you know, I changed. Usually I wear Mr. Mooney, number 11 jersey, but I thought it would be kind of funny to wear Mitchell Trubinsky's jersey today. I don't know if you can see that, but, because Mitchell kind of was, Mitchell came to the team and he was 12-4 his first year. The next year, he looked completely different and he sucked because Nagy wanted to make him something he wasn't. He didn't let him do what he did the first year. He tried to change him, and it messed with him. So, the Bears, the last 2 quarterbacks they've drafted high up, they're not doing a good job, and that's on the Bears. Management and coaches. They have let these 2 young men down, and right now, Fields particularly. So, I thought maybe wearing Mitchell, he would bring us a little luck, right? Yeah, come on, Mitchell. Anyways, okay, so we know what it's going to take to win this game, and it's huge. We got to do it. And if you're going to the Bears game, I know some people argue, but hearing boos is just the last thing they need right now. Let's be behind them. Cheer them on. When you're at that game, I want to hear the fans when their offense, when Denver's offense is out there, I want to hear those fans yelling, get off your fat asses and support that defense and make it impossible for Wilson to talk to his other players on when they're on the field. Make it difficult for them. Make them get delay of games like we did last week because the fans were so loud. Well, I don't know if that was the reason. They just think they're stupid, the Bears, but and be loud. Let's support them. I know you paid a lot of excuse me. See, I'm not bullshitting about this cough. You pay a lot of money for the tickets. I know, I've been to many games. And you're right. When they put shit out on the field, they got to hear it. But right now, the Bears mentally, I don't think they can take it. So let's just support them this week. And if they don't win, then we'll talk about that on Monday, okay, what we're going to do. But let's just support them. No booing, okay? But let's stick together, Bears fans. I know it's been tough. If the Bears can get a couple wins under that belt, their belts, I think we can turn it around for at least a decent season. Okay? So that's my take on the game on Sunday. Excuse me. Oh, I hate doing this on the air. So that's it. I mean, there's really not a lot to say at this point because we got to see what happens on Sunday. Like I said, there's been a lot of pointing the fingers. We should do this, that. The bottom line is the Bears got to go out, man up, play NFL football, not pee-wee football, because that's what it's looked like, okay? That's all I'm saying. So get your shit together, Bears, and let's bring home a W. I want to have Victory Monday on my show, all right? All right. I'm going to calm down. I'm going to stop talking about them. But I do kind of have a little feel-good short story. Our undrafted quarterback, Tyson Bagent, that kind of opened everybody's eyes in preseason. And I know a lot of people want them to sit Fields and start Bagent. And to be honest with you, in the next coming weeks, depending what happens, if we don't win, it might be best to sit Fields for Fields' own well-being. It might be best for him to sit on the sideline and watch what goes on in that game. And maybe it could help him. And we could see what we have in Bagent. Bagent has been mostly the third-string quarterback, which gives him a lot of reps because he's doing the practice squad. And the Bears are seeing, I'm hearing little whispers, the Bears are seeing him in this on the practice squad, and they're seeing him throwing every day, and there's whispers that they're kind of impressed. And you know what? It's happened to other teams, right? Look at Tom Brady. He was drafted in the 6th round, low in the 6th round, and look at him. I'm not saying he's Tom Brady, but there are teams that get quarterbacks that don't think they were going to be anything, and bang, boom, look at them. So I don't know. I'm kind of want to see Bagent. I won't lie. So I'm going to do a little story on him because it's different. It's about his father. His father is an arm wrestling champion. Yes, it's kind of cool. That was his thing, and his nickname was the Beast. He has won 25 national titles, 13 world titles, and well, wait a minute. Okay, so he won 25 national titles, 17 world championships. I don't know what, and then 13 world titles. That's a little contradicting, isn't it? But he is proclaimed, he is, they say, one of the greatest professional arm wrestlers in the sport. Again, I don't know. Okay, so I wrote he won 17 world championships and 25 national titles. Okay, so Bagent's father, it does run in the family. Bagent's father. So the Beast's father, so Bagent's grandfather, learned the sports from his fellow devil dogs while serving in the Marines in the 60s and 70s. After he got out of the Marines, his dad came home, set up a bar called the Big Arm, a tavern in Charlestown, and that became the hub in the area. A lot of people, as they said, came there where guys could come, have a couple cocktails, and there was 8 arm wrestling tables, and they would come and they would arm wrestle. So it was in his family. His dad learned it in the Marines, and then the Beast, Tyson's father, became a champ. Everybody knows him in that sport. Everybody knows him. And now his occupation now is CrossFit fitness owner. So that's cool. And you know what? I promised some viewers, I got some new subscribers, and I promised them I'd kind of mention this. And because one of the subscribers said, hey, I learned this through somebody watching my show. Tyson's father is an arm wrestling champ. So that's when I looked it up. So he grew up in a championship-minded household. And his dad, Travis, he won all those championships, and he is the greatest of all time in that sport. So kind of cool. You can see where maybe this kid's got that drive, It's kind of like Mahomes. He's such a great guy. His father was a pitcher in the major leagues. So you see that drive, and you get that. And then their fathers pass it down to their sons. So his father, who is the Beast, passed this down, championship-minded, to his son. So maybe we can see, I don't know. You know what? So that's kind of cool. It's a different story. People are like, arm wrestling. So what? Hey, man, everybody does their thing. And I never even, knew there was arm wrestling championships till I looked this stuff up. So his dad is a champion. So why can't Tyson Bagent be an NFL champion quarterback for the Chicago Bears? I would love that. And if that's the case, man, we'll welcome all the arm wrestlers to Soldier Field and on my show, man. So let's hope, right? And again, I would love to see Bagent in there. I hate to say it. I've been trying to support Fields all these years. I've never really been on the Fields bandwagon. I was on the fence when they drafted him, because Ohio State, as I've said many times, has a terrible track record with quarterbacks. So, and it's proving to be so again. Although C.J. Stroud for Texas, I guess, is doing pretty well, but I don't really know. So I guess he's doing pretty well. So, and he just came from Ohio State. He was drafted first, or I think he was drafted second, right, this year in the draft. So Bryce Young went number 1. So we'll see. So that's it, guys. I'm kind of been babbling on, blah, 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 blah. So cool for Tyson Bagent, and really cool for his father, the Beast. Arm wrestling, baby. So, you know what's going to happen, what we have to do. And let's hope they do it, okay? We need this win desperately, okay, Bears fans? Um, and I just want to thank you all for watching. I don't like to talk about this too much because I do not do this show for subscribers. I mean, I'm not doing them to get them, but when I get them, I like them. And I had a goal this year of maybe getting 400 subscribers. And in the last 2 weeks, that goal could be possible because I've gotten quite a few, and I cannot thank you enough. I mean, it really does mean a lot to me because I just love talking about the Bears. And these are, of course, my opinions. I do watch a lot of football. I watch college and national. Like last night in the Detroit game, they have this great tight end, the Detroit Lions. He's number 87, and he's Laporte, and he was with Iowa. And I watched him all his years play because I'm a Big Ten watcher, and then I watch other games, but Big Ten first. And I saw this kid play, and I knew he was going to be great in the NFL. And you saw him last night. Man, I wish our tight ends would play with that. I wish all our players would play the intensity that I saw from both those teams last night. I mean, Green Bay came out, and they were losing big time, and they started making it a game where Detroit started getting a little worried. Like, oh boy, because they started getting a little conservative, and then they had to start passing again. Because Green Bay, and you know what? That's something you don't see from the Bears. You just don't see that intensity. So, Sunday, Bears, I mean it. Don't make me come to that locker room because you don't want this 5'1", 65-year-old, pickled brain and all woman to be there. Because you know what? I may be short, but I am mighty. And I could be scary. I mean, really scary. Really scary. Excuse me, you could just ask my son. Anyways, I'm going on too long. I'm sorry. So, sorry I went on too long today. But again, I just want to thank everybody for watching me. I mean, I would do it anyways if nobody watched. Well, I don't know if I do it if nobody watched. But I just love it. I love the Bears, and I've been a fan for 48 years. And that's why I'm a drinker, because I'm a Bears fan. So, anyways, thank you. And I just want to say, as always, I like to leave my show with a positive note. Be kind to one another. Stop hate. Let's work together. Love everybody. Smile. You know what? You could be in the store and you could see somebody, and I smile at everybody and talk to everybody anyways. It drives my family insane, but I do talk to anybody. And just making a smile, and then you see somebody else smile, you don't know what kind of day they're having. You don't know what kind of life they're having. Life's tough right now. It's very, very hard. And we need to stick together. We're on this planet together. Let's make it easier by getting along. I mean, it just makes life easier. And if you're a Bears fan, life is tough as it is right now, and we stick together. Bears fans are freaking awesome and freaking tough and devoted. That's for sure. This one is for sure. So please, come together, okay? Just love, right? Love. And I love you guys. I know. And if we get a victory, I've been promised this for over a year, I will sing the victory song. As awful as it is, or the touchdown song, I will sing it. And I'm going to tell you what, you're going to want to hear Lynn sing. That's all I'm saying. All right. I love you guys. Go Bears. Bring us a W. And as always, keep on rocking and rolling from Vegas, baby. Bye-bye.